Hi everyone, and welcome to the Good Woo. This is a video about the full moon we have on August 3rd, 2020. It's exact at around 8:58 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Now I'm making this video prior to it, and I will also be revisiting this moon in the next weekly woo. But I want you guys to have some of this information now, because there are aspects going on with this moon and leading up to it that's going to make it feel, these next few days, feel like we're already in a full moon. So there are some basic tips that I want to bring out. First, I want to start with the more difficult energies that we may face as we lead up to it. This energy that we've been talking about parenting ourselves, and specifically this idea of like our relationship with our mother, our relationship with the internal mother. If we are a mother, how we're parenting, how are we balancing womanhood with motherhood? And if we're a man, like what is our relationship to our mother and maybe our children's mother, and the idea of these internal archetypes not being about gender and how you gender identify, but being about these energies within, that we all have this internal masculine and feminine, and that they display different layers of these archetypes, like the internal father and the internal mother. And I'll link that meditation here. I'm also going to link the inner child meditation here, because we are going to be faced with all sorts of challenges in our life, right? That's inevitable. Challenges are here to make us stronger, to help us grow. And with this particular moon, there's an element of just seriousness that's going to come in around our thinking. There could be some pessimism. There could be feelings that like you don't have room for the dreams you held as a young person to be coming to fruition. There can be a look on the past that's negative. It's like where pessimism and negativity come in. It's a signal that our inner child needs some attention and healing, and that we are needing to look deeper into the patterns and belief systems that our childhood fed us or didn't feed us. So this moon is an antidote to that seriousness and that pessimism that may be coming in, is the sun. And so this is a great time to do sun breathing, which is where you go outside, and there's different ways to do this. The way that I like to do it, there's two. I like to stand in the midday sun where the sun is directly overhead, and I imagine that light is going into my crown chakra, in the top of my head, flooding down my body, cleansing me, and then I send that light all the way down into the center of the earth. Another way that you can do it is actually lay down in the sun and imagine that your solar plexus chakra, which is our internal sun, it's our parallel to the sun energetically, and imagine that as you inhale, you're taking the sun's energy into your solar plexus, and as you exhale, you're fanning it out all through your magnetic and auric field. Now, some other antidotes is like creativity, and specifically like what we did as children. So to get some crayons and some paper, and if you're feeling frustrated and angry, to like draw it out. This is something my son does a lot. When he gets upset, he's like, "Oh," and he goes and gets some paper and he starts drawing how he feels, and instantly he feels better. So this is like, we could be triggered by people, places, things, issues, blockages, shortages, whatever that is, but ultimately they're just triggering us, and that the root of that trigger is what we need to get to, and this moon is going to help us do that. And we can do it creatively, like radically accept that may be what's coming up, and then prepare to be able to do it in a really creative, expansive way, because on the other side of that, you're going to feel so much better. This is even like a moon where like dancing, and what I'm seeing is like us dancing to not necessarily upbeat music, but still like moving our body to music in ways that allow us to feel free and maybe even like intense. There's going to be some aspects leading up to this where intensity and our fear of our own power may really be coming up as we hit this lunation. So maybe take some time to like play some emo music and like really feel yourself, and like the intensity of how deep you can go or how big you can feel, really like accept it, right? So that you are then sovereign of it and you're not going to be projecting it out onto other people. Now, the other part of this lunation that is going to be piping hot is the fact that Uranus, the planet of rapid change, higher consciousness, outside of the box thinking, earthquakes, which we basically had 3 of this morning in LA. This planet is making a geometric pattern that forces change. It's like fast, forced change. Now, I make this video so that you guys can get ahead of that energy and you can be the change so that it's not materializing as other forces. So the way to do that is really think about, in your life, where do you need to change how you relate to the collective human experience? Where do you need to change around your ability to express your internal leader, king, queen? So there's this opposition going on around how we express ourselves and like what the collective is doing. And we can see this with like social media. This can come up with, frustration in social media, frustration with our friends and groups. And the idea is, where can you find a balance between your desire to be seen and expressed and your ability to be a part of a collective, of a group, of a country, of a state, of a group of people who have a particular belief system, whatever it is. This is where change is going to be. We're going to be feeling it. And in particular, there's a couple of antidotes for this. So there is a beneficial aspect between Uranus and the asteroid Ceres, which is the Great Mother. And if you know the story of Persephone and her mother Demeter, which, Ceres and Demeter are the same, her daughter went into the underworld half of the year, which is a story as to mythology around why we have winter. And it was that she is the protective mother. This is, again, taking us back to this idea of an antidote to a lot of these triggers around our early childhood experiences, fears, and traumas, is going to be to really nurture ourselves. Now, if you identify as male, that especially in Western culture, you're not really taught how to nurture yourself. So please reach out to me for private and one-on-one sessions, because I'm helping a lot of men find this part of themselves, and it's making radical changes in their life. I think it's so important that we all really tap in and get to know this internal mother within us, so that we are taking care of ourselves, so we're eating food that nourishes us and does not deplete us, so that we are cherishing and valuing ourselves like a mother would an infant. And sometimes we have resistance to that because we may feel like we're not worth that kind of care, or maybe we didn't get that kind of care, so we don't even know what it feels like. The antidote to some of the crunchy aspects of this moon is to dive deep into what it means to cherish yourself, to nurture yourself, to love yourself. And like I said, if you're not there, please reach out to me. You can email me at info@thegoodwoo.org, or you can head to thegoodwoo.org and see the services tab, where a lot of my services are being explained. Now, the other beautiful, I guess, spiritual hack we can take is we have this really beneficial aspect that Neptune is making, and even Jupiter to a certain degree again. So this is where, I will not be surprised if people start reporting, really vivid, surprising dreams right now, as this Uranus, Neptune, and Jupiter and Pluto and Saturn are all making these contacts with each other. And dreams that are going to trigger you, dreams that are going to have really intense feeling as you're dreaming them, and as you wake up, you're going to be feeling that still. I want you to dive into that. I want you to explore what these dreams bring up, because if you watch the weekly woo from last week, these reoccurring dreams, or really like intense dreams, are showing us where parts of us are frozen in the past, or parts are frozen in fear. And so there's messages to these dreams, and I want you to lean into it, write about them, talk about them, text about them, whatever it is, post about them. Now, Neptune is also, the planet of spirituality and the mystical arts and cinematography, film, photography. Neptune can also be addictions and lies and deceit and theft. So there's a high and a low vibe to every energy. And with this moon, I want you to be diving into that high vibe of Neptune. Watching dramatic movies that make you cry right now can be very therapeutic. Like I said, emo music, and then like moving with it, or like allowing whatever's going to trigger you to cry is going to help with this moon. And I got to say, like, the more dramatic you can be, probably the better it's going to feel. So the change aspect is really why I'm making this, because I want you guys to start thinking about what are the changes you can make. And specifically, changes being like, how can you take better care of yourself? How can you take better care of that which is in your care, be that children or animals or the elderly or the projects you have, the businesses you're creating, the friendships, the community? Like, where can you be this nurturing, dynamically, benevolently protective and caring part of yourself? And, whenever Ceres is present and whenever Uranus is present in a lunation at this point, it's linking to the sign of Taurus, which is all about the earth and this planet that we're on, and what is our relationship with her and her animals and her plants, and the fact that we are a part of that ecosystem, that we are also her animals. And what does that mean to be on a planet that is multidimensional as we are multidimensional? And can you connect with that energy while you're outside, or even while you're inside of your home? How can you bring that energy into your life? And this is the good woo, so let's get woo-woo on it. I want to encourage you guys to start talking to this planet that we live on, and as an experiment, just to see what comes up when you do it. Can you have an intimate relationship with the earth that you walk on? This ball, right, of matter that spins around this great star. This is your home. And what is your relationship with it? So you guys, I hope this gives you a chance to, one, understand that if triggers come up this week leading to this full moon, it is a sign to go deep. And I want you to go deep into your childhood. And I want you to think, when is the first time I felt this angry? When is the first time I felt this frustrated? When's the first time I felt this sad? When's the first time I felt this depressed, or this negative, or this pessimistic? And as we're working on communicating through these triggers, I want you guys to really embrace adulting, but in this way, to communicate with everyone that you're dealing with as your internal mother. And she is mature and she is benevolent, but she has boundaries, and she knows how to protect herself and her children. And she knows that some of her words can wound and some of her words can heal. And so she's choosing to create a nurturing environment, even in situations or with people that she may clash with. Like, we have a choice on how we communicate through this next week and a half as we lead up to this moon. And I want you to be creating the world you want to see as we move through the challenges, as we move through the triggers. So, thank you so much for viewing. Happy surfing, right? Cosmic weather is like a massive ocean. And it's both why I love studying it and also why I love teaching it. Because it's all for us to leverage, right? It's all for us to use. and for our benefit and for others' benefits. So let me know if this resonates with you. And of course, again, reach out to me if you need help processing these triggers. If you need help working on these meditations and going deeper, I'm here. That's what I'm here for. And thank you for the subscriptions and the likes and for the thank you donations. I appreciate them so much, everyone. Wishing you a blessed week. And I want this moon to make you proud of how far you've come, and make you proud of how you communicate and how you're loving yourself, because you're going to see that reflected in every circumstance and relationship in your life. Blessings, everyone.